What's going on, everyone? The Draft Nerd here. If you're new to the channel, I make NBA draft / college basketball content. So if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you cannot tell by the thumbnail title of this video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the keys to victory for every Final Four team. Now, we're not talking keys to victory for them to win it all, just because it will be hard to kind of pick who to match up. Even though I know I have a 50-50 chance, the way my bracket went this year, I don't trust myself. So we're just going to do the matchup that's in front of them. So what are the keys to victory for every team? So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into the video. Just make sure you leave the video a like if you like it, and leave a comment about any basketball opinion that you have, because that's what we love to do. We love to talk hoops, and just give me your opinion on what I thought. If you're a UConn fan, Miami fan, FAU fan, San Diego State fan, sound off in the comment section so I can learn more about your team, and just maybe I got some stuff wrong. Let me know. But like I said, without further ado, I want to go ahead and get into the video. So the first game we have is UConn versus Miami. And I think this is going to be a very interesting game. They're probably the two better teams that are left. It's unfortunate they got to play against each other in the Final Four, but they are two of the better teams. They are the two best teams out of the four. But obviously, with UConn, you have Jordan Hawkins, you have Andre Jackson, you have Sanogo, and those are going to be your key guys. Those are going to be the guys you really look for in this game. And if you're UConn, the way you're going to win is I think it'll be best if you play as slow as possible. I've looked in the tournament. UConn has like a middle of the road in terms of pace, and I think that's good for them because Miami likes to run. Miami likes to put pressure on you. Miami is a tough team to play because they will definitely speed you up. But if you can, and UConn's been one of the better defending teams too. Dan Hewley can get these guys to just play their brand of basketball, rebound, make shots difficult for Miami, neutralize Isaiah Wong. Easier said than done, but neutralize Isaiah Wong. Those are your keys to victory. I mean, Miami really, if they can get you wobbly, they're going to go for the knockout punch and finish you off, just because, like I said, they are so aggressive, whether it's on offense or defense. They're just an aggressive team. Jim Larranaga just does a really good job with these guys, just a really good job of getting anybody that comes through him. He just knows how to get the best out of his players, and I think that they're going to do that. I mean, he's been doing it this whole tournament, and playing against UConn will be no different. But if UConn wants to win, I think they should just continue to play their brand of basketball, play at a slower pace. I think that will hurt Miami. The same way Miami can hurt you by speeding it up, you can hurt Miami by slowing it down. And the reason you do that, the way you slow them down is by giving it Sanogo in the paint, because their tallest defenders like 6'7". Yeah, it's Norchad Amir. I might be saying his name wrong, but he's 6'7". I think they have another Anthony Walker. They have an Anthony Walker who's a little bit taller, but he doesn't get that many minutes. Amir is their main person. And Sanogo, even though he's only 6'9" himself, he controls the paint very well, rebounds very well. And I think that if you give it to him in the paint, I think that does a good job of slowing the game down. Also, you got to think about it. Miami can't really double team, because we saw in the last game, Sanogo can play make out of the post too. He can get it to the guys like Jordan Hawkins, and then you have Andre Jackson Jr., who's also an amazing point forward for sure. So it's not going to be easy for UConn, but I think that this is the recipe for them. If you're Miami, what do you do? I mean, you really had to hope Isaiah Wong has a game. He's been good. He's been good during the tournament, but he hasn't been as good as he usually is. So that's something I would like to see him step up. Jordan Miller, I think, was exceptional in the game against, was it Texas? Did they play Texas? I think he dropped like 27 points. So that's something that Miami, if you continue, you need to have those guys continue being on a roll. You got to speed up UConn, like I said, just because of the fact that UConn does play at a slower pace. But if Miami, if they can play a rough, disgusting defensive game, they're happy with it as long as they're moving that pace. So if Miami continues to do what they normally do, I think they have a chance to win. I mean, that's an uncomfortable position to be in if you're UConn, if any team. So if Miami can keep that up and make their shots, because it doesn't work if they don't make their shots. So if Miami, I just hit my mic. But if Miami continues to do that, I think they'll have no problem. I don't think they have a problem winning. And my last point for Miami is, do not let UConn set up their defense. UConn has been one of the better defensive teams in the tournament. And so if you allow them to set up their defense, that's obviously how they're one of the better defensive teams in the tournament. You do not want to go against them in sets. So if Miami has to slow the game down, because that's if UConn's controlling the pace, Miami is in trouble because, like I said, you do not want to go against UConn when their defense gets set. It's just that they have too many good defenders. They have too much length. They have Sonogo in the paint, even though I know he's not like a true rim protector. He's not bad. I mean, it's not like you're just going to bully this guy over, even though he's only 6'9". He has a tremendous paint presence, in my opinion. So Miami's just going to have to speed these guys up. That's literally the key, is just speed. That's what they're going to have to do. Now we move to the other game of the Final Four, which is Florida Atlantic and San Diego State. So San Diego State has just been good for so long, and it's good to see them finally make the Final Four. FAU is literally a Cinderella story. I think no one expected them. I know I didn't. Specifically, I remember because I thought the run FAU's going on, I thought Memphis was going to go on that run. So it's kind of just ironic. Like in a lot of my brackets, I think I only did 4, but I think in 3 of the 4, I had Memphis going on this type of run. But obviously, I got that wrong because FAU played Memphis in the beginning. But the keys for FAU to win, Jonell Davis, he's got to start hitting from 3. He hasn't been able to hit from 3 all tournament, and he takes a lot. I think he takes like 5 a game. So I think he definitely needs to hit. If there's a time for him to start hitting his threes, it's now. Because if you can start hitting your threes, I think that you could be a real detriment to San Diego State. Because some of what we were talking about with UConn, who plays at a medium pace, San Diego plays basically at a very low pace, and they're not that good offensively. So if you can make those guys uneasy by just hitting your three, because that will speed up the game, in my opinion. If you start hitting your threes or you start taking threes, the game is still going to start going. The pace is going to heighten. So make San Diego State uncomfortable. Now, the way San Diego can counteract that, which we'll talk about more when we get to their side, is that they do their bench scores a lot. Their bench is one of the better benches in the country as far as just scoring. So keep that in mind, because they could have a fresh rotation, but overall the team doesn't shoot well. So if you're making your threes, Jonell Davis, that really goes for anybody, but considering Jonell Davis to me is the star of the team, it's more important that he hits his, especially considering he hasn't all playoffs or all tournament. I think that it's just going to be very vital for him to hit his threes. But I will say that San Diego State doesn't allow that many threes. They're pretty good at locking down the perimeter. So it's just going to be, if you got to catch them off guard, you can't let their defense get set, because then you can go ahead and start shooting those threes. And even if you're not knocking it down, if it keeps the pace going, I think that you're still at an advantage if you're FAU. Also, another thing they would need to do is San Diego State fouls a lot. So if you're not able to hit those threes early and you realize you're shooting yourself out of the game, attack the basket, which Jonell Davis has been exceptionally well at. And then, Elijah Martin's been pretty good. Brian Greenlee has been pretty good. Brian Greenlee has been amazing from 3. So he's a guy that my earlier point about the 3-point shooting, he'll be a guy to look for that. But if you're not able to hit the 3 and you're afraid of shooting yourself out of the game, you play at a tempo to where you're never really out the game, especially in a tournament. We've seen huge point swings all tournament. So I don't think that's a disadvantage, but if you're missing your shots, make sure you attack the basket, because you're probably going to get fouled, and that free throw game it will slow down the game for sure, but it'll also help you stay in the game because you're constantly getting to the line. All right, now we're at San Diego State. I think San Diego State has a chance to win this game. If they're one of the slower teams in the country, that's always difficult to play against teams like that, especially in the tournament where everyone's just so excited and they just want to run. I think that San Diego State sticking to their guns is going to be dangerous for FAU, because it's not going to be something they're used to. It's to a team that is just well coached, doesn't make a lot of mistakes, plays their way. It's just going to be difficult for FAU. I keep wanting to say Miami, but it's going to be difficult for FAU to kind of do anything about it, because they're not Miami aggressive, but they do like to run. We saw in the game against Tennessee, they started getting hot from 3. Luckily for San Diego State, they're really good at preventing 3-point opportunities. So they would definitely need to do that, because once FAU gets hot from 3, I think it's going to be really difficult for San Diego State to kind of catch up, because they're not that good of a shooting team. And if they play at that pace while FAU's hitting 3s and they're hitting 2s barely, it's just not going to end well for them. So continue playing your pace. try your hardest to control the game, because the second you lose control of this game, it can get out of hand fast. So that's going to be something San Diego State needs to make sure that they do. And another thing is San Diego State does not do well in transition. They allow a lot of fast break points. So I mean, even if FAU is not able to hit the three, Jonell Davis, what he has been able to do is finish and run the break. So I think that could really put San Diego State at a disadvantage, because they're just not prepared to run at all. I mean, it comes back to that. So if San Diego State wants any chance of winning this game, it's not allowing too many runs and trying to control the game tempo as much as possible. Because I feel like it will be easier for FAU to kind of play at a medium pace than it would be for San Diego State to play at a medium pace, because all FAU got to do is slow it down a little bit. Aztecs will have to speed it up, and they're not good at shooting anyway. So it's just going to be a little difficult for them to try to really get a shot if you don't shoot well in sets anyway. So it's not going to be easy just running around and trying to create shots for yourself. All right, that does it. Thank you so much for watching. I don't know how long this video will be. I'll make sure I cut it down, but let me know what you think. Did I miss anything? If you're a fan of any of these teams, congratulations. I bet it feels great to be in the Final Four. Let me know if there's anything I got wrong or something. Maybe there was a key that I just missed. Just let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.